So you're probably asking yourself, what's the number one issue facing new real estate agents? What is it, right? Well, I got the answer for you in this video. So you best strap on a helmet so it don't make a mess when I blow your mind. So stick around. What's up, everybody? This is Tim Whittemore with the Whittemore Group here with eXp Realty, coming at you with the base information that you need to know about being a new real estate agent and joining eXp. I've been through a lot of it. I've been through a lot of different brokerages. I've been the single agent. I've been that team agent. I've been an ops manager, now team lead over here at my own team with eXp. So I want to give you the no BS, non-hype approach of what you need to know to be successful. All right, so let's get into it. What is that number one issue facing new real estate agents? That could be, hey, there's not enough leads. I've heard this all the time. There's not enough leads for me, Tim. Or I don't have enough training. I don't have any experience, or I don't have enough experience. Or there's too much competition out there. In our MLS, there's over 4,000 agents just in the Emerald Coast, specific Destin Emerald Coast area. Or it could be, my split's too low, so I'm not making enough to purchase new leads. I've heard all of these different things before, and I think they're all bogus, all right? That is not the thing. Basically, when I first got into real estate, matter of fact, when I first got into Florida real estate, because it was up in New York first, the big thing that people kept telling me, hey, the reason you're not being so successful, or the reason it's not going the way that you want it to go, is because you don't know what you don't know. That's my number one issue. And you know, I used to drink that Kool-Aid. I used to think that was the best tasting sauce. Like, oh, that's my excuse. Well, I can tell you that over time, after training so many people, I can tell you that is false. I can assure you that that is a problem. But is it really the biggest problem? I'm going to quote Keith Cunningham, one of the authors for a couple of books, but what he had said was that it's not so much that you don't know what you don't know. It's because you don't do the things that you already know. I'm telling you right now, getting into this industry, getting into real estate is not that cosmic. You can go on any other YouTube channel, any other podcast, however you're listening or watching this, and you can find tons of information on how to be successful as a real estate agent, whether that's going to be cold calls, door knocking, internet leads, SOI, all the baseline stuff. Even on my team, the 90-day boot camp that they go through, and of course anybody that comes on as a mentee into eXp, they have access to this. And what I'm giving you isn't cosmic. Now, there are a lot of really good things in there that help you get there and understand things at a easier level. But what I'm teaching isn't anything brand new. There's not a whole lot of secret sauce that's in there. It's just teaching you the basics of what has been done before. Everybody's out there like, hey, there's this niche that I'm going to go. I just heard this today talking to another real estate agent. I found this niche that nobody's been in before, and I'm thinking about going out there and crushing it. I'm like, dude, I don't know much about your business, but concentrate on doing this first. And becoming good and a solid foundation for your real estate, then start going after this other stuff, all right? The reason that people get into this is that they're just not doing the things that they need to do. So they're not going out and they're not making a certain amount of calls per day. They're not making a certain amount of what I like to call contacts, which is anytime that you have contact with somebody and real estate happens to come up. That could be your sphere of influence. That could be your internet leads that you're paying for, or that you put a post on Facebook or Instagram, or somebody you reached out in LinkedIn, or it could be when you dialed to circle prospect somewhere. Any of those certain things, you've got to get out there and actually do it and stay consistent. Consistency is key. The reason that people fail to do the things that they already know how to do is because of three main things. It's either because they're greedy, they're impatient or they're just plain lazy. I can tell you this from personal experience with people that I've coached and people that have been on previous teams of mine or even my team. We're not excluded from this. That's what they fall into. And nobody wants to admit that they're greedy, impatient, or lazy, but it takes somebody to keep that sort of accountability work. In this business, you can jump into it and you could make hundreds of thousands of dollars. And even myself, coming from a military career and being in E6 before I got out, I mean, I wasn't making even close to that, even being overseas. So that being said, going into this career field thinking that it's just going to be easy is just plain wrong. You have to put the work in if you want to get anything out of it, especially at the beginning. There's statistics from the NAR that says that somewhere around 87% of agents don't renew their license after the second year. They get out of the industry. That's a huge fail-out rate. And it's because they're not doing the things that they already know how to do. They just don't want to do it. And if you don't want it and you don't want the things that you can get once you build momentum in this industry, which is potential leverage and freedom, it is the uncapped potential for income, especially here with EXP. There's multiple ways to do that. And if you don't put the work in, you're not going to get anything out. And I'm sure that you've heard this before. All right, Tim, how do I mitigate that? Okay, well, this is how you find the solution to it. First things first is find a good coach, find a colleague, find somebody, and it could be a spouse, that can keep you accountable for the things that you need to do. If you don't know your numbers, go out and find your numbers. How many SOI contacts do I need to make to get one sale? How many internet leads do I have to contact in order for that to go to a sale? All these numbers, by the way, they're not going to be specific to you, but you can find them all. It's a Google search away. Find out what those contacts are. It's all about the numbers that you need to look at what you're doing, what we call activity-based indicators, ABIs. You've probably heard this before. These are the things that you should be tracking, not how many closings that you have, is how many activities are you doing to get to those closings. And once you know your numbers, you can work on it. Is it conversion? Is it that I'm not sitting down and discussing with people what it is that I need to do to get them from where they are now to keys in hand as a buyer? Are we doing a consult, a strategy session, or am I just picking up the phone and taking a call and then just going out and showing a home? Is it the listings? When I go to listing appointments and I'm competing, am I losing? Why am I losing to them? Is it because my commission isn't too low, or is it because I didn't practice my presentation? I'm not confident in what I'm saying. Or maybe I need to get my numbers a little bit better. There are so many things. The big key here is to practice. The first time that you go out to do a listing appointment, or the first time that you pick up the phone to do cold calls for sale by owner, or FSBOs as we call them, shouldn't be the first time those words come out of your mouth. You should be able to, 15 minutes prior, practice with a partner is the best way to do it. If you can't, practice with yourself. Talk those words out loud, so when you actually have to say them, that you've already had them, the tongue kind of knows what it has to do, and you can say them even if you're freaking out, like, oh my goodness, I'm bothering somebody, which, by the way, you're not. So make sure that you do that. There's plenty of free scripts out there. If your brokerage or your team doesn't offer you those, there are plenty of resources out there in order for you to get those things. But it's very, very simple, guys, in order to overcome that. If you're not in a brokerage that gets that sort of mentee or that coaching, you may want to look at joining a team. And if you're on a team that doesn't supply that, you may want to reevaluate why you're even on that team. If they're not at least giving you those sort of accountability. Especially as a brand new agent, yes, you don't know what you don't know, but it's very easy to figure that stuff out, and it's the very basics. Don't think that there's something out there that you just don't know, that these people are killing it. It's because they put the work in. They put the work in. It could have been 20 years ago, and then they're just feeding off their past clients. They still put the work in at some point. You're not going to get there without actually putting that work in prior to it. Once you figure this out, then it will be easy peasy. A lot of the things that you're going to do, if you play your cards right, is what we call long tail items. What's that? That means that you have to do things consistently for a good amount of time, 6 months to a year, before you start seeing consistent results from them. Some of those things, I just taught a class to my team today, which we do once a week, which was about social media. How long do you have to do these things consistently before you actually start seeing a return? Sometimes it can be as early as 3 months, but more than likely it's up to 6 to 12 months. If you're watching this on YouTube or listening to this on a podcast, how long do you have to do that before you start seeing results? And if you want to peek behind the curtain, it's 6 months to a year for either one of those platforms, depending on what you're doing. But in either case, make sure that you're doing those consistent things, and that you're also doing the things that can get you business right now. And it's those things that you don't necessarily want to do. All right, so to recap from certain videos, Tim, where should these lead sources come from so I can get the business now and I can do the things that will make this easier down the road? Great. So you're working your face off, you're not getting those results, stick with it. It takes somewhere between 3 to 6 months, especially if you move somewhere like I did and all your sphere of influence was gone. All right. But typically the ideal part for a real estate agent is, out of 100, 60% of your business should be coming from your SOI, that sphere of influence. People that already like you, they know you, and they trust you. So that should be 60% of your business of calling, hey, how's it going, Bob? Yeah, how are the kids? How's work, whatever. And then they ask you, how you doing? Oh, great, I'm in real estate. Yeah. Who do you know that's looking to buy, sell, or invest? Right? Obviously, you can do whatever you want with that and make it not so awkward. But yeah, you can do that. The other 20% is from all those cold sources. We're talking FISBOs. We're talking internet leads, which necessarily isn't a cold source. Your expired listings, going out there and circle prospecting, door knocking for properties that just sold, even if it's not your brokerage. You can go out and knock on them and be like, hey, did you see that this one just sold? Would you like to stay updated on that, right? You can do an entire business. I was at a conference earlier this year where a guy was just like out there killing it, like by himself, 20 mil, just production goal. And all he did was call around just listed, just sold properties. He did that every single day. He didn't even cultivate his SOI. He just did just listed, just sold, and got listings that way. And he would just hammer the phones. So yeah, it was something that he could do, but he did it consistently. So there's tons of different ways to go out with those 20% leads, open houses, right? And that still leaves another 20%. Now, these are going to be your easy lead sources. It's going to be the ones that you pay for. I do not advocate anybody to put any money into something until you start making money. So if you've cultivated your SOI and you got a closing and you got some money back and then you paid for some expenses and you have some over, then that's up to you. Are you going to pay yourself, or are you going to reinvest that back into you or your company? You can take that money and reinvest into Google pay-per-click leads. If you're with EXP, the Make It Rain leads, right? If you're into Realtor.com, Zillow, Homes.com, a lot of those, at least at the time of this video, are super overpriced. And it takes a lot of money to actually see those good return on investments. But look at that. Maybe just some regular internet leads that you're going to convert from one in every 125 contacts that you make, right? So those you could probably get from $3 to $5 a lead. It really just depends on where you're looking at things. Find out which one works. But only a small percent, 20% of your entire business should be coming from paid lead sources. As much as I would love to advocate that all you got to do is put money in and you get that money out and you're good to go, experienced real estate agents may be able to pull that off. But if you're brand new and you're watching this or listening to this video, it's probably not going to be like that. You're going to have too high or too narrow of a margin and too high of an expenses, and you're going to become part of the statistics if you do fail out. So that's what I got for you. The number one issue facing new real estate agents is you don't do the things that you already know how to do. Okay? Solution to that, go ahead, get somebody to keep you accountable. Know those numbers, at least know generic numbers of what you need, how many contacts, your activity-based indicators, to figure out what your results-based indicators are going to be. Once you do that, stay consistent. Don't give up on it. This is not a get rich quick scheme. Even with the EXP and the rev share, you still got to put the work in, not only to do real estate, because you still have to do real estate, and to do your recruiting as well. So a lot of this can come together. Go ahead, work hard at it, get it going now, and it will pay off dividends towards the end. And that's kind of a fun pun with EXP, because we do have stock. Well, again, if you have any questions about anything that I mentioned here, please go ahead, leave it here in the comments below. And if you're curious about joining EXP or just want to know what it's like to be in real estate, I'm always happy to answer your questions. Give me a call, text, find me on social media, shoot me an email. Whatever's more convenient to you, I'm always happy to help you get to that next level. Because if you're the next rock star in our area, I want to get to know you. Also, if you're ready to go ahead and join EXP and you're just like, yeah, I'm ready to go ahead and go to our homepage there. You can see our link to join EXP now, and go ahead and put that in. Make sure to send me a message so that you get all the support and training materials that you get from myself and my upline. So from here, again, I'm Tim Whittemore with the Whittemore Group here with EXP Realty. We'll see you in our next video. Take care.